In this video, we are going to be writing the equation of a line that passes through two given points. We're going to do two different ways. The first, we're going to use the y equals mx plus b method. And then the second one, we'll use the point slope formula. Okay, for the y is equal to mx plus b method, and if you don't know how to do this, I do have videos on this. We need to figure out what m is first, and then we need to figure out what b is. Okay, to figure out what m, the slope is, we can use these points right here. So recall that m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so let's label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so we will plug those in, and that gives us, let's see, 4 minus a negative 6. And then we've got 2 minus also a negative 6. Okay, so that becomes, let's do it down here. M is equal to 4 plus 6, and then 2 plus 6, which is 10 over 8. And if you reduce that, M becomes, you divide by 2, right? M becomes 5 over 4. So we found our slope. Okay, and you can confirm that by counting. Let's start with this point and see if I go 5 up and 4 over, if I'll hit the line again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it does work. Okay, now we need our y-intercept, which is somewhere in here between 1 and 2, right? But we're not sure exactly where. So we need to figure that out. What I'm going to do is grab one of these points, the easier looking one. To me, the 2, 4 looks easier than dealing with these negatives. So I'll choose 2, 4 for my x and my y, and my m is equal to 5 over 4. So now all I have to do is figure out b. So y is equal to mx plus b. I plug the y in here. I plug the m in here. I plug the x in here plus b. Okay, so this is, let's see, 4 is equal to 10 over 4 plus b, right? That will reduce to 5 over 2. So 4 equals 5 over 2 plus b. We're going to have to subtract that 5 over 2 to the other side, but first let's put 4 with the same denominator as that. Okay, so if I want to write it as a fraction, I need to put a 4 over 1. And I need it to have a 2 on bottom, right? So I need to multiply by 2, which means I do the same thing to the top. That becomes 8 over 2. 8 over 2 is the same thing as 4. So here we go. 8 over 2 is equal to 5 over 2 plus b. If I subtract this 5 over 2 from both sides, I'll get my b. So 8 over 2 minus 5 over 2 is 3 over 2 equals b. Okay, and that's about what we saw, right? 3 over 2 is somewhere between 1 and 2. So 1.5, and that looks about right. So it looks like that checks out. So let's go ahead and write down the answer. Y is equal to mx plus b. And we'll just put in our m and our b that we just found. Found our m earlier, found our b here. So y is equal to 5 over 4x plus 3 over 2. Okay, for the second problem, we're going to be using this formula, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and that could be labeled also like this. You could put a 2 here and a 2 here. It doesn't really matter. So we'll find the slope first, same way we did the last problem, and then we'll plug in an x and a y and an m, and then solve it for y. Okay, so let's go ahead and label this x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's find our slope. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that is negative 3 minus 6. And then on bottom we get 1 minus negative 5. Okay, so on top we get a negative 9. On bottom, this becomes 1 plus 5, right? So on bottom we get a 6. And let's see, that can be reduced. Divide by 3 on top and bottom, right? So m is equal to negative, let's see, divide by 3, that would be 3. Divide by 3, that'd be 2. So negative 3 over 2 is our slope. Okay, so we found our slope. Now we're going to use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and just like the last one, we just choose one of our points. Choose the one that looks easier. I chose the second one last time. I'm going to choose the first one this time. So this is the one I'm choosing to use in the formula, and I'm going to put it in place of the y1 and the x1 here. Okay, so y minus, or y1 is 6, equals m, that's negative 3 over 2, times x minus negative 5. Okay, so that's y minus 6 equals negative 3 over 2 times x plus 5. Negative times a negative. Okay, let's distribute this. So y minus 6 is equal to negative 3 over 2 times x is negative 3 over 2x. And then negative 3 over 2 times 5. Let's do that over here. What is negative 3 over 2 times 5? We could put a 5 over 1, right? So that would be, the top would be a negative 15, bottom would be a 2. Doesn't look like that reduces, so that will be minus 15 over 2. Okay, we're almost done. We just need to get rid of this 6, right? So I add the 6 to both sides. How do I combine those? Well, I need common denominator, right? 6 is a whole number. I need to put it over 1 and change it to a fraction with a 2 on bottom, so times 2 times 2. So let's do this over here as well. So we have negative 15 over 2 and plus 12 over 2. Okay, so the bigger one's negative, right? So subtract, keep the sign of the bigger one. So 15 minus 12 is 3, keep the sign. So negative 3 over 2. Okay, so our final answer, because that's all we were trying to do, is get this 6 over here, right? So now we have y by itself as we wanted. Negative 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Okay, let's go ahead and check our work real quick. It says here that I'm going to cross the y-axis. My y-intercept is negative 3 over 2. That's negative 1.5, right? So let's see if I cross. Yeah, that looks like negative 1.5 right there. So that seems fine. Let's use my slope and see if I stay on my line. So we'll start at the top left point, and I'll go down 3, right 2. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 2. I hit the line. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3 over 2. I hit the line. 1, 2, 3 over 2. I hit the point. So yes, this answer is correct.